Morning everybody. You heard that right, my name is Con. Fantastic name for somebody involved in sales. Could have been worse, I suppose. Could have been Rob or Nick even. So I want to talk to you briefly today about my company Converteco Solar. What we do, we design, supply, fit solar power solutions, not exclusively but including photovoltaics, which is the electric solar panels, and thermodynamics, which is a European solution for the hot water and space heating. But today, I think the whole theme was about business and energy costs. So if we just concentrate today on what we've been up to in the business world with regard to helping our customers get control, which of course both Rod and Stephen have alluded to, getting control of those bills to give a sustainable business proposition. It is kind of apt, isn't it, that today the news is all about the declared 2.1 billion profits of the big six, who are at last being called into question, which we've heard from Stephen and from Rod. The thing is, of course, I think it adds even more credence to what's been said by both the previous speakers and what I'm about to talk about. It is about time that they were held accountable and we actually do something for ourselves, whether it be cutting our costs, whether it be looking at and not taking what's on offer the first deal, or putting something on your roof, which is what I want to talk about, solar panels. So Converteco Solar have been in operation for 8 years. We're based right here in Eastbourne, right behind the Eastbourne Arndale Centre. And we've won many awards along the way, including Small Business of the Year, Environmental Award winners, and we've been party to national awards as well in association with Eastbourne Borough Council. So we've done a few bits. The proposition for solar power, I think, is even more compelling, given that in the last 2 years in our industry, the costs have been reduced by as much as 65%. That's acquisition costs. So if you take, for example, a couple of years ago, I know someone could easily have spent £18,000 to have an installation put in their house. Well, that same installation these days is closer to £7,000. That's probably a message that a lot of people will be surprised to hear. And of course, the same kind of reductions are available in business. The couple of notable wins for our customers recently, well, in the last 12 months. I know I'm glad to see Mark is here from the Arndale Centre. We, just before Christmas, put almost 100 kilowatts, that's nearly 400 panels on top of the Eastbourne Arndale Centre on behalf of Legal & General. And the benefit of that to Legal & General, the Arndale Centre per se, is just short of about £20,000 worth of profits a year out of that. And that's actually going to run the car park lighting for the year in year one. Of course, those returns are going to improve because they're all index linked for another 19 years. And of course, as Rod alluded to, the bills are only going to go up, so your returns are actually going to get better. So that was very worthwhile. We also have fitted on Sussex Downs College, and where that has worked, again, they're building a sustainable business plan, as we've heard. When we were measuring what we thought the returns would be based on the guidelines we strictly have to adhere to within our industry, we said that from their installation they get about 29,000 kilowatt hours over the course of the year. They actually got 44,000 kilowatt hours, so they were up by 50%. So again, when we're measuring what you think your returns are going to be, they're based on generalisation across the country. We in Eastbourne, of course, have the sunniest place in the UK. I know it's always arguing between ourselves and Bournemouth, but I think we always edge it every year. In general, though, we get more sun hours here. So here is a really great place. Any idea who said the words, "I'd put my money on the sun and solar energy"? What a source of power. I hope we don't have to wait until the oil and the coal run out before we tackle that. Pretty powerful words. Actually, it was Thomas Edison. Any idea when he said it? Well, you could be forgiven for thinking, well, he probably said that about a couple of years ago because he could see what was happening. Actually, he said that in 1931. So he knew a thing or two, and he could definitely see what was going to happen. I think we have all been a little bit guilty of just waiting until it's nearly all run out before we react. So he knew what was going on. What's very interesting is that, sadly, we have to give the Germans some credit here. They're ahead of the game, as they're finishing their feed-in tariff of 25 years. We're just starting ours in 2010, but the upshot for them, has been that just short of 60% of their energy needs now are taken care of by solar and wind power. And because they now have control, or a very good measure of control, they're influencing their energy costs downwards. So it does work. It does work. So we've been quite active in our short career, but you know, there's been such devastation within our industry, ups and downs and moving around. But we've survived because we always put the customer first, because there's a pretty good maxim: if you put the customer before money, everybody wins. And that's why we're here and why so many haven't. We've thrived because we've been specialist. We don't do anything else. That's what we've been doing for 8 years. I know there's a lot of other companies that do a bit of this and a bit of that, but we've stuck to our core values the whole time. An interesting concept happened in Eastbourne, a company called West End Studios. Some of you may be familiar with it. They're an internationally renowned company. They're probably number 2 in the world at what they do. They're certainly number 1 in Europe. And their problem was they're burning far too much power, and so they were put under pressure by the energy company to put another supply in at a cost of about £100,000, which of course is a supply to take more, to cost more. They decided against that. They actually spent that money with us and flooded their own roofs to give them the power they needed without having to buy it, and actually turn that around on its head and get paid for producing the power that they now use, that they didn't have to pay for ongoing. So there is a very good example of an ongoing commitment to a sustainable business in what they're doing there. They've taken control of those costs, and they have control. So I know that we've all overrun, so I'll keep this pretty concise. And I would just say, I think given what's going on, there are some really good reasons now to consider solar power. I think it's been a bit of a slow burn, and that's possibly to do with our Britishness. We're not the quickest to react to change, but it's getting there. I think if you look up on roofs around just in Eastbourne and the area, there's a lot more of it appearing. So there are 5 reasons I would suggest in closing that it's really worthy of consideration. The costs are down by up to 65% from probably when you last looked at it. You can avoid spiralling energy costs, take some measure of control. Eastbourne, as I said, is the sunniest place in the UK. Having done it, of course, get up to 20 years income from your investment. And here is a real kicker. If you're looking at this from a business perspective, put aside for 1 second the possibility that 9 times out of 10 your investment will pay for itself in less than 5 years. So what that also means is it'll pay for itself 5 times over in the 20-year feed-in tariff period. It is termed portable plant, and if you talk to your accountants, it's all subject to write-off. So there really isn't too many reasons why you shouldn't consider it. Of course, the only other reason is you're not in profit, you can't afford it. But if you are in profit and you'd rather do something with the money than pay tax, I'd say that's a very, very, very good idea. So that's Con at Converteco Solar based in Eastbourne. Better for you, better for the environment, better all round. Thank you very much.